Yeah, that's another one of the aspects of this kind of line of questioning is to kind of examine that idea that like if you don't reach a certain point of success or a point of accomplishment by age 30, then you might as well give up because it's too late. And I know that's not
absurd.
true.
I think that's completely absurd. And I know a lot of people have that attitude. You're supposed to turn 30 and suddenly be the perfect image of traditional adulthood. That ain't me. And that isn't most of the people that I know.
30 under 30 lists are stupid. They're built around rich, white, neurotypical people. Yeah. I'm 38. A lovely thing that, I'm a published poet. I got published at 37. That's the first and only time I've been published. But I have a poetry blog I started after age 30. I still write every day.
I'm 42. Took a moment there. I've been writing all my life.
Because I'm doing a bachelor's degree, which is what a lot of people do right out of high school, I have a lot of people who are about a decade younger than me in my classes, and they're all very confused. I think a lot of people just think it's cool, it's interesting, they probably liked it in high school, but it's really difficult to figure out what to do with a bachelor's degree in psychology. You need more than that to become a psychologist. So I find myself constantly having to be the mentor of my peers. They come and look at me and they're like, oh my gosh, you're 30 and you're here, but you seem like you have everything together. And I'm like, how would you say that? We're in the same spot. I have hardly any idea what I'm doing. And it took me so long to even get here. Honestly, any young viewers, listeners, please don't rush into school. I did that and I wasted so much money. Do not rush into post-secondary school. Take some time off. Let your brain mature. Figure out what you want to do.
At 30 was kind of a changing point for me in many ways. I was at the archives still at the time, though I knew that wasn't going to continue long term. My goals in life have constantly been changing. I kind of got to the point where I was like, I need a master's, and I'll get my master's, and then I'll figure out the rest of my life. And I did that in my 20s. And then I got past that and kind of went, we'll see where my life goes from here. And I don't know where I want to go next. I don't actually have those types of life goals as much anymore, other than, consistent progress.
I would dispute that age 30 means something, especially in trans and queer circles. I would say that those are cis timelines, and the best thing we can do, just ignore them. It's not meaningful. It doesn't matter. Our lives don't work the same way. I'm in puberty right now. I'm 28. It's absurd. It's fine. I don't think that my 30s are going to be very much like cisheads 30s are supposed to be, and I don't really mind that.
Is a future age the right answer? I mean, I don't know if I've ever really figured out like, oh, this is the one thing I'm doing. This is what I'm good at. This is what I'm liking. I'll follow this path for a little while and see where it takes me for as long as it takes me there.
Probably my mid-20s. Really, once I found programming, I realized how attuned my method of thinking was to solving those kinds of problems. It became obvious to me that was like what I needed to do in life. It took me until really my late 20s to bring all that together, but because I was in college for like 10 years.
So I am over 30, and I have no idea where I'm going. Everything in life has been very transient and very changing for me. So we'll see how that goes. I don't have everything figured out. I'm not looking.
Like 40s are a great age. Like I know that a lot of your listeners aren't even remotely there yet, but I'm telling you 40s is where it's at, because I think you kind of get your together in your 40s. Like it sort of somehow all comes together, like all your experimentation, everything you've figured out, like it settles down a little bit, and you're young. You're young in your 40s, so there's still a lot of time, and people think that's old, but it's not. Like you still have a lot of time to do things, and you know enough to be able to make the right calls, I think, by then. So I'd say 40s are a pretty great era, but I think every era has been great. I certainly wouldn't want to go back to my teens and 20s. Like those were those to me were really hard errors. Looking like I don't even know who that chick was anymore. Like I look back on some of the stuff she did and think, what? So I wouldn't go back to that era. Yeah.
I'll say that I'm a little bit past that 30 mark, and I still haven't really gotten to that point. But that's not to say that I haven't like thought I was at that point before. I've been through a few times where I really felt like, yeah, I'm on the right path. Gotta just keep doing this. And maybe a few years later, I realized, oh, maybe I should do something else.
So I would have been 33. I had been at my job for a couple of months, and I was feeling good about it. I was able to say, okay, yes, this is something I can do. This is something that I can be good at. The long-term prospects of this job are good. I was in a great relationship, a very healthy relationship that was going forward. We hadn't made all the final decisions about where our future was going, but we were in a position where we were able to make those decisions productively. At that point, I feel like, all right, I'm not quite there yet, but I am definitely going the right direction.
So I'm 31 now, and I actually think that the first time I ever felt that was last year. And it kind of came out of nowhere in a way. I always hoped I had the goal of having a family one day, and that is something I still want. So perhaps I still feel a bit lost in that regard. And I know lots of my friends who are my age are at that stage where they're starting to get pregnant, or they're buying, or they're even like considering moving house and stuff. And I don't have any of that yet.
I think I was very lucky that it was in my early 20s that I realized that I wanted to pursue naturopathic medicine, even though I hadn't thought about it prior to or when I was in university. So I was around 23, I think 23, 24 when I was like, you know what, that looks like something I'd really resonate with. And I just did everything I needed to do to get the boxes ticked, to get all my prerequisites. Because I was at McGill for doing an undergraduate degree in commerce, and I was able to, complete that degree with all of my electives being sciences, so that I could apply to the 4-year naturopathic medicine degree. And the rest is history. I was a student for way too long, but I'm so lucky because I'm 5-6 years into my career and like building my practice, and I truly do love it. Like I love it so much, but there's part of me that wonders if I will be in this career forever.
I don't know if it's funny or sad. I choose to think funny. So there was like a 4 to 6 month period when I was 27 to 28, right before my stroke, that I was like, my life is excellent. I'm a genius at the time. So I felt creatively fulfilled. I felt like I was doing really good work. I was just there. And then I have 3 strokes.
So I definitely did not have it figured out by 30. I had gone back to school, started doing stand-up, started doing the HR arc. So I was headed in the direction that I wanted to be, but in terms of feeling really secure in myself and how I want to exist in the world, how I want, what types of people I want to be around, how to ask for what I want, all of those things. It's only been 2 recent. So I'm 38. I don't usually publicly say that, but for you, Lacey, I will admit my actual age for context, I guess. It's been super recent. I was just speaking about this with someone else earlier today. There's this fake narrative, especially for women, that we're kind of old news after our 20s, and that couldn't be farther from the truth for me. I've never been happier than I am now, and I still don't have 100% of what's next figured out, but I feel okay with this